Welcome to Basic Flight, Systems, and Weapon Training. This series of training sessions will provide you with detailed instructions on how to control your spacecraft, manage ship systems, navigate, trade, and use weapons. You can skip any training stage by pressing Enter. You can also return to a previous training stage by pressing Alt-Enter. For this first session, we'll cover flight basics. The default flight control will be set to the mouse if no joystick or gamepad is detected. You can change the control setup as desired in the Options menu. For mouse control, you can select either a pointer mode or a direction mode. The pointer mode will let you control your ship with a visual marker on the screen. The direction mode will let you control your ship based on how much you move the mouse. Let's start with velocity control. If you're using the mouse for flight control, you can use the wheel to adjust the velocity setting, or the 1 to 0 keys to set it by percentage. Plus and minus, or W and S, can also be used to trim the velocity setting. You'll notice the VEL indicator will reflect whatever level of velocity you select. Increase your velocity setting to maximum now. Good. Now reduce your velocity to 0. If you're using the mouse or keyboard flight control, you can hit the backspace key to immediately set velocity to 0. In addition to your main engine, your ship also has a series of thrusters at various points on the hull. These thrusters are automatically controlled by your onboard computer to help keep your ship moving in the direction it is facing. But you also manually control the thrusters to rotate your ship and perform maneuvers. Use the flight control device to turn left and right now. Next, pitch up and down. Good. The last rotation control is roll. For keyboard and mouse flight control, use the default Q and E keys for rolling left and right. Roll left and right now. In addition to rotation and velocity control, you can also move your ship directly up, down, left, or right by activating the horizontal or vertical movement thrusters. On-off control for these thrusters is available using the default A and D keys for left-right horizontal movement, while the Z and X keys are used for up-down vertical movement. You can also add variable horizontal and vertical thruster control if the flight control device you're using supports enough axis channels. Try moving horizontally left and right now. Now try moving up and down. Well done. Flying in space involves mastering the effects of inertia. The inertial dampening system, or IDS, will help keep flight control simple by constantly using your thrusters automatically to keep your ship moving in the direction it's facing. The more momentum your ship has in a particular direction, the longer it will take for the IDS to alter your ship's movement toward a new heading. When you want to bypass the system and allow your ship to continue moving in a certain direction, press the IDS on-off key, default spacebar. The inertial label will be visible on your ship's status display when the IDS is off. Practice by building up speed in the direction you're facing, then turn off the IDS and rotate around a bit to see how inertia will let you continue moving in the original direction. Turn the IDS back on to resume automatic thruster control. Your ship is also equipped with an afterburner, which provides a high level of thrust from the main engine. Use it sparingly, as it consumes a much greater amount of fuel, but it can be very useful in combat when you need to escape or change direction quickly. To engage the afterburner, press and hold the default Tab key. Practice using the afterburner now by accelerating to twice your ship's maximum cruise speed, then release the key to disable the afterburner. That completes the flight training section. We'll cover ship systems next. Combat, environment, and status information is projected onto your helmet's visor as a heads-up display, or HUD, and on the 3 cockpit displays. The HUD includes optional readouts for gravity, altitude, energy, damage, and speed. Motion spheres also help you gauge your velocity, while a pitch ladder indicates the orientation of your ship. The HUD has 3 modes. You can turn it off entirely, or use a reduced display mode that removes the numerical indicators along with the motion spheres and pitch ladder. Try cycling through the HUD modes now using the default H key. Your ship divides available power between your weapon system and shield system. The The current power setting is shown on the lower left cockpit display at the top right corner next to the letter P. The setting will range from a value of -5 to +5. The S readout is for shields and the W readout is for weapons. You can adjust power for each system by using the default left and right bracket keys. Increasing power to a system will improve its recharge rate and effectiveness, providing more resistance for shields or more shots for primary weapons. Managing power between these systems will become very important as you start upgrading your weapons and shield systems. Just to the left of the power setting indicator is the number of remaining countermeasures you have, CM. Below the power setting indicator is a blue bar next to the letter W, which indicates the weapon system power level. The bar will decrease in size as you fire your primary weapons. Once the bar reaches the middle, your weapon system will be out of power and will need to recharge. Observe this in action now by firing your primary weapon until the bar indicates a low power level. Good. Notice that a red energy light flashes on your HUD to bring the low power level to your attention. Below the weapon power level, the green bar next to the letter H indicates the status of your ship's hull. It will decrease in size as your ship sustains hull damage. The armor of your ship that comprises its hull is determined by the frame you choose when you build it. On the left side of the ship's status display are readouts for velocity, set velocity, gravity, altitude, inertial status, fuel, navigation damage, weapon system damage, engine damage, shield array status, and primary firing mode. Your secondary weapons are listed on the lower right side of the display, and the weapon next to the number 1 is the weapon that's ready to fire. The middle cockpit display is your 3D radar. It provides direction information on objects in space. Green dots indicate friendly ships, yellow dots indicate moderate ships, and red dots indicate hostile ships. When red dots appear on the radar, a warning sound will help bring the threat to your attention. Blue dots indicate stations. Yellow dots with small brackets indicate inbound missiles. White dots indicate cargo, and purple dots indicate unknown or miscellaneous objects. The dots include an attached line that points away from the center of the radar sphere, which helps you determine if an object is behind or ahead of you. The blue highlight brackets in the middle indicate the front of your ship, so you can fly toward an object by bringing its corresponding dot into the brackets. Directly above the 3D radar are the vertical and horizontal speed gauges. The display at the lower right of the cockpit shows details about the ship you are currently targeting. To target a ship, simply use the mouse pointer to click on it when it's in your visual range. You can toggle between ships in the area with the default T key, or use the default R key to target the closest ship. Alt-T will toggle between hostile ships in the area, while Alt-R will target the nearest hostile ship. Once you've targeted a ship, its class, faction affiliation, threat level, speed, range, shield levels, direction, and hull damage will be shown on the display. If you've installed a cargo scanning device on your ship, you'll also see what's in the targeted ship's cargo bay once you're in range. The center of the HUD is your gun sight. The outer rim of the gun sight indicates the limit of where you can obtain a missile lock and have your primary weapons automatically aim at a target. Primary weapons use the multi-directional tracking system, or MDTS, to automatically lead a target based on speed, distance, and direction. The target must be in range and within the outer rim of the gun sight for the weapons to hit successfully. The farther away a target is, the more time it will have to evade the gunfire. If you want to aim manually, you can press the default L key to turn the MDTS off. A missile lock is obtained by keeping a target ship inside the outer rim of the gun sight for a certain period of time. The range and time it takes to obtain a lock will depend on which secondary weapon is being used. Some secondary weapon types, such as fulcrum torpedoes, don't require a missile lock and just fly in a straight line. You can toggle between secondary weapons in flight by pressing the default semicolon and apostrophe keys. Practice firing at this drone target, marked as a red threat level, until it's destroyed. Good. You can install two different types of primary weapons on your ship. Particle cannons fire projectiles at high speed and are usually moderately effective against shields and most effective against hull armor. Each type of particle cannon can have unique range, yield, and firing rate attributes. Some particle cannons are also optimized to deplete shields, drain energy, or inflict kinetic effects on a target. So review the specifications of each cannon you install so you understand how to best use it. Beam cannons are the other type of primary weapon. They are generally a shield depletion weapon, and higher class models that use more power are more effective. You can selectively fire each type of weapon individually or simultaneously by changing the fire mode, default N key. When a missile is fired at you, you can choose to evade or attempt to shoot it down. Missile evasion is an important skill to master. Most missiles track your heat signature, and in the cold void of space, your ship's engine and thruster exhausts stand out. You can significantly reduce your ship's heat signature by turning off the IDS and avoid using the afterburner or manually controlling the maneuvering thrusters. While drifting in space this way, your countermeasures can be more effective. Wait to launch countermeasures until the missile is close enough to set off the proximity alarm. One of the most important aspects of handling your ship in combat is shield management. Your shield system projects a defensive field of energy in 4 directions. Each direction is referred to as an array. If one or more arrays becomes weak, enemy fire can hit the hull of your ship directly, causing damage. As mentioned earlier, the status of each array is indicated on the shield section of your ship's status display. Notice the green bars, one for each direction with your ship in the middle. Watch as I drop your front shield array to critical. The green bar changes color to red and decreases in size. As it recharges, the color will change to yellow, then green again. Your goal is to avoid letting any array reach critical. To do that, you can transfer power from the other arrays. Let's practice that now. I will again drop your front shield to critical. When that happens, use the Augment Front Shield key, default numpad 8, to transfer power from the left, right, and rear arrays to the front array. Good. In addition to transferring power to a specific array, you can also balance power between all 4 using the default numpad 5 key. Also remember that you can improve the recharge rate of all shield arrays by transferring power to your shield system. The top part of the HUD includes the compass and several menu options. To select a menu option, simply use the mouse pointer and click on the desired button. If you're using the mouse for flight control, you can hold down the Alt key to suspend flight control so you can move the pointer to select one of the menu options. The Target menu lets you select a target or change the clan link status of a player-controlled ship in multiplayer. The Order menu lets you send an order to other ships in your fleet. In single player, the order is given to computer-controlled ships that you have recruited to be part of your fleet. In multiplayer, the order is sent to players who have matching clan ID tags in their call sign. On the right side of the menu options at the top of the HUD are the Deploy and Build menus. The Deploy menu lets you place temporary devices that can recharge or refuel your ship, detect ships and other objects at long distance, or provide shield cover. The Build menu lets you construct long-term stations in new locations, allowing you to expand the game's universe by introducing new trade options, AI ships, and markets. You must have the proper equipment and be at a valid location to deploy or build such objects and stations. The middle of the top of the HUD gives you access to the consoles, autopilot, formation option, and jump drive. Click on Auto to engage the autopilot. The autopilot will control your ship and take it to the current destination point selected. The destination point is displayed on your HUD as a yellow nav marker, and a yellow direction marker is also displayed on the 3D radar. The distance to the destination is displayed below the nav marker. Activate the autopilot now. Notice how your ship changes course and travels directly toward the nav marker. The autopilot will also control your jump drive if you select a destination that is outside of your current sector. Now disengage the autopilot. The Form button on the right side of the compass works the same way and will keep your ship in close formation with any friendly or moderate ship you have targeted. There are 3 main consoles that you will use to travel and conduct business. The first one is the navigation console, which can be opened by clicking on the nav button at the left of the top middle display or by pressing the default F1 key. Again, if you are using the mouse for flight control, you can temporarily suspend flight control by holding the Alt key down. Open the navigation console now. This console lets you manage jump drive travel and system navigation in an easy-to-use interface. Your current position is displayed on the map with a green arrow. You can also see nearby objects, such as planets and asteroids, on the map. To select a new navigation point, simply click on the location you want. The X and Z coordinates will automatically be set to the new location, and you can adjust the Y position, or height, by either using the rear view map mode or by clicking on the Y position field and manually typing in a value. Practice using the navigation console by clicking on a point located near X 40,000, Z 40,000. Now click on the launch option or press the default F2 key to engage the fulcrum jump drive. If the console is closed, you can also click on the jump button at the top of the HUD. You can close the console at any time. You've arrived at the location you selected. You can travel to another sector the same way. Simply click on Zoom Out to view a wider area of space, then click on a point in a surrounding sector box to jump to. If you want to zoom in on a nearby sector, simply right-click on the sector you want. You can also use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out on the map from your current location. If your jump drive can reach a distant point you select in a different sector, you'll be able to quickly jump there. Upgrade your fulcrum drive to travel to sectors that are farther away. You can save important locations in your map log and enter a description for each log entry to help you remember the locations you save. The navigation console also provides important information about the system you are in. Your current overall reputation is displayed on the right side, along with optional maps which give you information on economic and territory conditions throughout the Evochron quadrant. Jump gates provide shortcuts to other regions of space and are displayed on the map with purple icons. Gate destinations are displayed at the bottom of the map when you hold the mouse pointer over their icons. Planet icons will include a name and economy type value, which lets you know what items may be in high demand or high supply for the area. It's important to use this information to help formulate optimal trade routes and get an idea of what to expect as you travel. In order to survive and succeed in the Evochron quadrant, you'll need to find a way to make a living. You can perform a variety of services under contract or fly on your own terms and complete your own objectives. You can mine for valuable resources, transport needed commodities to high-paying locations, patrol for hostile ships, negotiate for quick trade deals with other pilots, explore for hidden benefits, or a variety of other activities. To manage your resources and items, you will use the inventory console, which is accessed by either the default F3 key or the INV button at the top middle section of the HUD. Open the inventory console now. The inventory console will let you monitor your account, fuel, loaded weapons, equipment upgrades, and cargo bay. When you are docked at a station, carrier, or city, you can use the console to refuel, reload, and repair your ship. When you're docked, the console also gives you access to items available for sale and contracts for jobs. Hold the mouse pointer over an item to view a description of it at the top middle of the inventory console display. To buy or sell an item, simply left-click on it. Each type of item is color-coded for easier review. Purple items are commodities, yellow items are equipment, and green items are weapons. The inventory console also lets you transfer weapons and equipment from your cargo bay and install them onto your ship. You can also uninstall weapons or equipment from your ship and place them in your cargo bay. To transfer an item on your ship without selling it, right-click on the item. You can also use right-clicking to buy equipment or weapons and place them in your cargo bay rather than installing them on your ship. Right-clicking also lets you buy or sell one unit of a commodity at a time. You can also consolidate commodities in different cargo slots while you are docked by holding the Alt key, then left or right-clicking. Alt left-click will consolidate the maximum number of units from the cargo slot you click on to another slot with the same commodity type. Alt right-click will transfer one unit at a time. The inventory console also gives you access to sub-consoles, which are available on the left side with the buttons named Crew Management and News Console. The Crew Management console lets you hire specialists that can provide unique benefits and enhance the capabilities of your ship. You also use the crew management console to dismiss crew members and manage their pay. The news console provides useful information about the system you are in, including a market profile that displays current values of commodities in the area. You can trade with other ships directly if you have a good reputation with them. You won't likely get the full market value for an item when trading like this, but it's faster and easier than traveling to a station or planet to sell something. To send a trade request to the ship you have targeted, press the default F4 key or click on the trade button at the top of the HUD at the far right. If the other ship accepts your trade request, the trade console will open. Since no ships are in the area at the moment, the trade console will be opened automatically for you. If the other pilot wants to sell something to you, their offer will appear on the right side of the console screen under Items Being Offered. The fair market value for the system you are in will be displayed after the item description. If you add items you want to sell, the other pilot will usually indicate how much money they are willing to pay you for the exchange. Click on Submit to send your offer. If the other pilot agrees, the transaction will be finalized. You can send multiple trade requests as desired to negotiate. How you interact with the ships around you affects your reputation. You can turn friendly ships hostile by attacking them and bribe hostile ships into being friendly with money. Your reputation in a particular system will determine how other ships will treat you and affect the fees, prices, and contracts you will encounter. Your reputation can also change as you complete contracts for various factions. Changes to your overall reputation will be indicated in the message log, just like how this training text appears now. Your reputations with specific local factions are available in the news console. For this stage, you'll be required to dock with the station. This is done by simply flying to the docking area near the top of the station. The docking area is protected by a blue atmosphere shield and provides flashing lights indicating the correct approach path you need to use to enter the station. Your HUD will also display a pathway that will help guide you to the docking area. The pathway will be red if your approach is outside of the required docking angle, and it will be green when you are approaching correctly. Once you reach the docking port, the station's tractor beam will engage and hold you in place, and the inventory console will open. Turn off the inventory console to disengage the tractor beam and depart. Practice docking with this station now. Close the inventory console to disengage the docking tractor beam.
Docking tractor beam engaged. Docking
For this
tractor
next
beam
stage, you'll be required to
disengaged.
descend into a planet atmosphere and land at a city trading station. To land on a planet, slow to under 1200 MPS before you enter the atmosphere, and watch for guide boxes to appear that will help you determine a safe descent path to the planet's city. If you are far away from the city, the guide boxes will remain red in color and will provide you with a high descent path to reach the city. Once in a close proximity, the guide boxes will change to green and will point directly to the docking station. Fly to the top of the docking station. The station's tractor beam will secure your ship and open the inventory console automatically. Reduce throttle to 0 to prevent wasting fuel. When you're ready to leave, press the default F3 key to close the inventory console and instruct the tractor beam to disengage. Add throttle to safely depart the docking station and climb as desired back into space. Practice landing at the city docking station on this planet now.
Docking
It can
track
be a
to be
challenge to achieve
disengaged.
success when you are first starting out, so here's a few quick tips on making money early in the game. With a few low-cost upgrades, you can improve your ship's speed and compete in timed solo races, which pay very well with very little risk. If you fly a civilian ship and have a mining beam, you can mine asteroids for quick credits. Cleaning solar arrays can also be profitable and doesn't require much time once you've practiced with the tractor beam. Once you've earned enough to upgrade your ship's weapons, equipment, and systems further, you'll be ready for far more challenging objectives and higher pay. You'll now be returned to the main menu. Click Launch to continue. Good luck.